Panamaham Saparina Chakcharya, Ashtadar Satta Sri Srima, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Shira Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Shira Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Pada Panamaham Saparina Chakcharya, Ashtadar Satta Sri Srima, His Divine Grace Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sakha Ho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasade Gaura Bhakta Vinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogominan Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagnapuri Dham Ki Jai. Gangamai Jamunamai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai. Hare Rama Sankirtan Ki Jai. ISKCON Nyutvagadam Ki Jai. Nitai Go Pramanandi Hari Hari Haribu. All glories to the Sambodhi Varis Hare Krishna. All glories to the Sambodhi Varis Hare Krishna. All glories to the Sambodhi Varis Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Shasmati. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nanayana Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devin Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Chayam Uditayet Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashtoke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 15, text number 11. Yo no Jukopa Vana Etya Duranta Krishrat Dova Saso Ri Rachitat Ayutakra Buk Yaha Shakana Shishtam Upayuja Yatas Tri Rokin Chiptam Amamsta Sarire Vinimakna Sangaha Yo no Chukopa Vana Etya Turnanta Krishra Deva Sasori Rachita Ayutakta Bhugya Shanka Nashishtam Upayuja Yatastrit Lokin Chiptam Amansta Sarine Vinimaknas Sangya Yo no Chukopa Vana Etya Tunanta Krishna Durva Sasori Rachita Ayutakra Bhugya Shanka Nashishtam Upayuja Yatastrilokin Chiptam Amamsta Sarire Vinimakna Sanka Yo no chukopa vana etya tunanta Krishna. Deva sasori rachita ayutakra bhugya. Shanka nashishtam upayuja yatastrilokin. Chiptam amansta sarine vinimagna sangha. Yo no chukopa vana etya tunanta Krishna. Durva sasori rachita ayutakra bhugya. Shaka nashishtam upayuja vatastilokin. Chiptam amasta sarine vinimagna sangha. Shankar Ashishna Upaya Jaya Vachadilokin. Chipta Amasta Sanine Vinimagna Sangha. Yono Chukopa Vana Etya Tunanta Krishna. Deva sasori rachita ayutakra bhugya. Shaka nashishtam upayucha yatastrilokin. Chiptam amasta sarine vinimagna sangha. Yo no chukopa vana etya tunanta Krishna. Deva sasori rachita ayutakra bhugya. Shaka nashishtam upayuja yatastrilokin. Chiptam amasta sarine vinimagna sangha. Vaishnavis. Yo no chukopa vana etya tunanta Krishna. Duva sasori rachita ayutakra bhugya. Shanka nashishtam upayuja yatastrilokin. Chiptam amasta sharine vinimagna sangha. Yo no chukopa vana etya tunanta Krishna. Duva sasori rachita ayutakra bhugya. Shanka nashishtam upayuja yatastrilokin. Chiptam amansta sharine vinimagna sangha. Yaha, one who. Naha, us. Jugapa, gave protection. Vane, forest. Etya, getting in. Dunanta, dangerously. Krishna, trouble. Durvasasaha, of Durvasa Muni. Ari, enemy. Rachitat, fabricated by. Ayuta, 10,000. Agrabuk, one who eats before. Yaha, that person. Shaka ana shishtam, remnants of foodstuff. Upayuja, having accepted. Yataha, because. Trilokin, all the three worlds. Triptam, satisfied. Amansta, thought within the mind. Sarile, while in the water. Vinimagna sangaha, or merged into the water. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. Translation. During our exile, Durvasa Muni, this is Arjuna speaking. During our exile, Durvasa Muni, who eats with his 10,000 disciples, intrigued with our enemies to put us in dangerous trouble. At that time, he, Lord Krishna, simply by accepting the remnants of food, saved us. By his accepting food thus, the assembly of Munis, while bathing in the river, felt sumptuously fed. And all the three worlds were also satisfied. Purport. Durvasa Muni, a powerful mystic Brahmana, determined to observe the principles of religion with great vows and under strict austerities. His name is associated with many historical events, and it appears that the great mystic could be both easily satisfied and easily annoyed, like Lord Shiva. When he was satisfied, he could do tremendous good to the servitor. But if he was dissatisfied, he could bring about the greatest calamity. Kumari Kunti, at her father's house, used to minister all kinds of services to all great brahmanas. And being satisfied with a good reception, Durvasa Muni benedicted her with the power to call any demigod she desired. It is understood that he was a plenary incarnation of Lord Shiva, and thus he could be either easily satisfied or annoyed. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva, and by Lord Shiva's order, he accepted the priesthood of King Shvetaketu because of the king's performance of sacrifice for 100 years. Sometimes he used to visit the parliamentary assembly of the heavenly kingdom of Indradev. He could travel in space by his great mystic powers. And it is understood that he traveled a great distance through space, even up to the Vaikuntha planet beyond material space. He traveled all these long distances within 1 year during his quarrel with King Ambarish, the great devotee and emperor of the world. He had about 10,000 disciples, and wherever he visited and became a guest of a great Kshatriya kings, he used to be accompanied by a number of followers. Once he visited the house of Duryodhana, the enemy cousin of Maharaj Yudhishthira. Duryodhana was intelligent enough to satisfy the Brahmana by all means. And the great Rishi wanted to give some benediction to Duryodhana. Duryodhana knew his mystic powers and he knew also that the mystic Brahmana, if dissatisfied, could cause some havoc. And as he designed to engage the Brahmana to show his wrath upon his enemy cousin, the Pandavas. When the rishi wanted to award some benediction to Duryodhana, the latter wished that he should visit the house of Maharaj Yudhishthira, who was the oldest and chief among all his cousins. But by his request, he would go to him after he had finished his meals with his queen, Draupadi. Duryodhana knew that after Draupadi's dinner, it would be impossible for Maharaj Yudhishthira to receive such a large number of Brahmana guests, and thus the rishi would be annoyed and would create some trouble for his cousin Maharaj Yudhishthira. That was the plan of Duryodhana. Durvasa Muni agreed to this proposal, and he approached the king in exile, according to the plan of Duryodhana, after the king and Draupadi had finished their meals. On his arrival at the door of Maharaj Yudhishthira, he was at once well received, and the king requested him to finish his noontime religious rites in the river, for by that time the foodstuff would be prepared. Durvasa Muni, along with his large number of disciples, went to take a bath in the river, and Maharaj Yudhishthira was in great anxiety about the guests. As long as Draupadi had not taken her meals, food could be served to any number of guests. But the rishi, by the plan of Duryodhana, reached there after Draupadi had finished her meals. When the devotees are put into difficulty, they have an opportunity to recollect the Lord with rapt attention. So Draupadi was thinking of Lord Krishna in that dangerous position, and the all-pervading Lord could at once know the dangerous position of his devotees. He therefore came there on the scene and asked Draupadi to give whatever food she might have in her stock. On her being so requested by the Lord, Draupadi was sorrowful because the Supreme Lord asked her for some food and she was unable to supply it at that time. She said to the Lord that the mysterious dish which she had received from the sun god could supply any amount of food if she herself had not eaten. But on that day, she had already taken her meals, and thus they were in danger. By expressing her difficulties, she began to cry before the Lord, as only a woman would do in such a position. The Lord, however, asked Draupadi to bring up the cooking pots to see if there was any particle of foodstuff left. And on Draupadi's doing so, the Lord found some particle of vegetable sticking to the pot. The Lord at once picked it up and ate it. After doing so, the Lord asked Draupadi to call for her guest, the company of Durvasa. Bhima was sent to call them from the river. Bhima said, "Why are you delaying, sirs? Come on, the food is already for you. The food is ready for you." But the Brahmanas, because of Lord Krishna's accepting a little particle of food, felt sumptuously fed, even while they were in the water. They thought that since Maharaj Yudhishthira must have prepared many valuable dishes for them, and since they were not hungry and could not eat, the king would feel very sorry. So it was better not to go there. Thus, they decided to go away. This incident proves that the Lord is the greatest mystic, and therefore he is known as Yogeshvara. Another instruction is that every householder must offer food to the Lord. And the result will be that everyone, even a company of guests numbering 10,000, will be satisfied because of the Lord's being satisfied. That is the way of devotional service. Translation again. Let's read the translation again. During our exile, the Vasamuni, who eats with his 10,000 disciples, intrigued with our enemies to put us in dangerous trouble. At that time, he, Lord Krishna, simply by accepting the remnants of food, saved us. By his accepting food thus, the assembly of Munis, while bathing in the water, felt sumptuously fed, and all the three worlds were also satisfied. Om Jnana Timinandasya Jnananjana Sarkaya Chakshu Umnitan Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Videsmadi Tamao Krishna Goswami Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Videsmadi Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvani Pracharine Nimishesha Shunyavadi Praschadishatani. So it's a very long purport. There are many wonderful points in Srila Prabhupada's purpose. One point is that it is said here that the great sage, Durvasa Muni, is easily satisfied and easily annoyed, like Lord Shiva. And when he was satisfied, he could do tremendous good to the servitor. But if he was dissatisfied, he could bring about great calamities. It reminds me the story of Lord Shiva in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. There was a very nice story about Lord Shiva dealing with a demon, Rikasura. So this demon, Rikasura, in order to get some benedictions from Lord Shiva, he practiced very severe austerities. And his austerities were so severe that he would cut his flesh and offer his flesh piece by piece to the sacrificial fire. So let's have a look how he was doing that. So the demon named Rika, a son of Shakunis, once met Narada on the road. The wicked fellow asked him which of the three chief gods could be pleased most quickly. So here was mentioning three chief gods. So they are actually Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, and Lord Vishnu. So this demon Rikasura, he was asking Narada Muni, out of those three gods, who could be pleased most quickly? And then Narada Muni told him, worship Lord Shiva and you will soon achieve success. So on the instruction of Lord Shiva, this demon Rikasura, he quickly became pleased by saying, here actually Narada Muni continues that Lord Shiva quickly became pleased by seeing his worshippers cite his good qualities and quickly angered by seeing his slightest fault. Lord Shiva continued, he became pleased with 10-headed Ravana and also with Vanasura when they each chanted his glories like birds in the royal court. Lord Shiva then bestowed unprecedented power upon each of them. But in both cases, he was consequently beset with great difficulty. So Lord Shiva told two, examples to this Rikasura. Why worship Lord Shiva is so easy. And then, thus advised, the demon Rikasura proceeded to worship Lord Shiva at Kedarnanta by taking pieces of his flesh from his own body and offering them as oblations into the sacred fire, which is Lord Shiva's mouth. So, see, when we holding the fire yajna, we are offering different grains and ghee into the fire. So actually that fire represents Lord Vishnu's mouth. And here this fire represents Lord Shiva's mouth. Yeah. Rikasura became frustrated after failing to obtain a vision of the Lord. Finally, on the seventh day, after dipping his hair into the holy waters at Kedarnatha and leaving it wet, he took up a hatchet, a small knife, and prepared to cut off his head. But at that very moment, the supremely merciful Lord Shiva rose up out of the sacrificial fire, looking like a god of fire himself, and grabbed both arms of the demon to stop him from killing himself, just as we would do. By Lord Shiva's touch, Rikasura once again became whole. So we could see that this demon Rikasura, he was so devotion to Lord Shiva, that even Lord Shiva, he appeared, from the sacrificial fire. Yeah, that's very amazing, I wish that one day when we are doing the sacrificial fire, Lord Vishnu will appear on the scene. That we are so, pure, you are so pure, And then Lord Shiva, hold the arms of the demon, and simply by the touching of Lord Shiva, this demon immediately, gain all his flesh, become like before, So that's why Lord Shiva is also called Yogeshwara, the master of all mystic yogis, Lord Shiva. And then Lord Shiva said to the demon Rikasura, "My friend, please stop. Ask from me whatever you want, and I will bestow that boon upon you. Alas, you have subjected your body to great torment for no reason, since I'm pleased with a simple offering of water from those who approach me for shelter." And then, the benediction sinful Rika choose from the Lord would Lord Shiva asked the demon Rikasura to ask for a benediction. So, what the benediction that the demon Rikasura choose? He chose. His benediction is very terrifying. So let's see what he choose. So Rikasura, he asked Lord Shiva, "May death come to whomever I touch upon the head with my hand." So he wants this power, that whoever he touch with his hand, the head, and that person, would die immediately. So upon hearing this, Lord Ruja seemed somewhat disturbed. Nonetheless, O descent of Bharat, he vibrated on to signify his ascent, granting Vrikasura the benediction with an ironic smile, as if giving milk to a poisonous snake. So we know that milk is very nourishable foodstuffs, can nourish our brain so that we can understand the importance of spiritual life. But if the same milk is touched by a poisonous snake, so that milk will have poisonous effect. So when Lord Shiva gave this benediction to the demon Vrikasura, so that benediction will also cause bad effect. Let's have a look. To test Lord Shambhu's benediction, the demon then tried to put his hand on the Lord's heart. So this demon is so bad that immediately he tried to test if the benediction is true or not. And he wants to test it by touching his hand to Lord Shiva's heart. So thus Shiva was frightened because of what himself, so Lord Shiva was very frightened because of what he himself has done. And then, as the demon pursued him, Lord Shiva fled swiftly from his abode in the north, shaking with terror. He ran as far as the limits of the earth, the sky, and the corners of the universe. The great demigods could only remain silent. So actually, it seems that when Lord Shiva was, fleeing, all the demigods in the heavenly planets, they could see this. So on seeing this, all the demigods remained silent, not knowing how to counteract the benediction. Then Lord Shiva reached the luminous realm of Vaikuntha, beyond all darkness, where the Supreme Lord Narayan is manifest. That realm is the destination of renunciates who have attained peace and giving up all violence against other creatures. Going there, one never returns. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also tells Arjuna that Jamakama chamet divyam evam yoveti tatvataha tyaktvam deham punajamam naitimam etisho Arjuna. So Krishna tells Arjuna that if one knows his birth activities are transcendental, upon quitting the present body, he will attain the spiritual world. And upon attaining the spiritual world, he will never come back again to this material world. Yeah. So the same description is here too. So once we get back to the spiritual world, one will never come back again to this material world. And then the Supreme Lord, who relieves his devotees' distress, had seen from afar that Lord Shiva was in danger. Thus, by his mystic yoga maya potency, he assumed the form of a brahmachari student with the appropriate boat, deerskin, rod, and prayer beads, and came before Vrikasura. The Lord's effulgence glowed brilliantly like fire. Holding kusha grass in his hand, he humbly greeted the demon. The Supreme Lord said, "My dear son of Shakuni, you appear tired. Why have you come such a great distance? please rest for a minute. After all, it is one's body that fulfills all one's desires. And then Lord Vishnu continues, said, Almighty One, please tell us what you intend to do. If we are qualified to hear it. Usually one accomplishes his purposes by taking help from others. Thus being questioned by the personality of God in language that poured down upon him like sweet nectar, so Rikasura felt relieved from his fatigue. He described to the Lord everything he had done. After hearing the description from the demon Rikasura, Lord Vishnu, he said, if this is the case, we cannot believe what Shiva says. Shiva is the same Lord of the Pretas and Pishachas, whom Daksha cursed to become like a carnivorous hobgoblin. Carnivorous hobgoblins. O burst of the demon, if you have any faith in him, because he is the spiritual master of the universe, then without delay, put your hand on your head and see what happens. So Lord Vishnu advised the demon Rikasura, don't believe the words of Lord Shiva. It might not be true. If you don't believe that, you can try to put your hand on your head. Yeah. So Lord, Vishnu tricked the demon like that. And then the Lord continues, said, if the words of Lord Shambhu prove untrue in any way, O best of the demons, then kill the liar so he may never lie again. Lord Shiva may have the power to revive himself even after being killed, but at least he will be dissuaded from lying again. And then we all know thus bewildered by the personality of Godhead's enchanting artful words, foolish Vika, without realizing what he was doing, placed his hand on his head. And his head immediately, boom. So the demon died like that, Yeah. So this is one example, how Lord Shiva, he's so easily pleased by his worshipper. So, in today's verse, Durvasa Muni is also like that. Actually, before preparing the class, I was asking Chitta Prabhu, there's another example that if Lord Shiva is easily pleased and also easily annoyed, dissatisfied. And Chitta Prabhu told me the story of another story of, the one who is easily dissatisfied with Lord Shiva. So here I would request Chitta Prabhu to tell us that story. Yeah, please, Chitta Prabhu. Yeah, please. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Yeah. So I will just stop here. Is there any questions and comments? Yes, Prem Sangeetam. Oh, just wait. Get the microphone. Yeah.
So Durvasa Muni is plenary incarnation of Lord Shiva.
Right.
And we know that Lord Shiva is no ordinary Jiva. He's like Shiva Tattva, Shakti, Shiva Tattva, like milk and yogurt.
Right.
So is it Durvasa Muni in the same category? He's no ordinary Jiva?
I think so, because it is said here in the purport that the Vasa Muni is actually a plenary expansion of Lord Shiva. So he is not ordinary soul, actually. Yeah. That's why he could even, go to the spiritual world, Vaikuntha Loka. Anyone who can go to the Vaikuntha Loka must be a very special soul. Yeah. If anybody else have any, point about this, anything. So any other questions or comments? So we will stop here. Thank you so much for coming for the Bhagavatam class. Gantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Bhaktavinda ki jai.